Um,
I'm old now, man. I'm old.
I don't know. Let's see. Anyway, right. So I tell you what, these games that we talked about last week, right? And there wasn't, I know we didn't have a lot to say, but now we have a lot to say, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what, them Panthers and that Bucks game was interesting, but I got to rant about this. And I told you this on the text. I'm going to
Mhm.
rant about this. The Panthers playbook, their strategy was one, their linemen get a block, right? So Bryce Young could work, or two, what's his name? Was it McMillan? You know,
Right.
gets
Yeah.
gets
Mhm.
gets open quick enough so we could have that quick pass. Why? The weakest part of this game right now is in fact linemen. Their footwork is sloppy. They don't get any footwork going, right? They get themselves turned and try to chase the guy. And it's like then they resort to holding. But man, the Panthers line was exceptionally bad. They were letting them guys get through almost every play, and it was like Bryce Young had to really work for that quick pass, um, especially in rain. It was like the quick pass, if it didn't get off, he was going to get sacked, right? Or you had the run game, which wasn't doing very well.
Well, I'll say this too, and to your point, there's a reason why, although the Panthers are hosting a home game against the Rams this week, the first game of the weekend on Saturday, in the wild card round, the Rams are a 10.5 point favorite, and I think that's just to get the money spread around equally. I think that could be just a real curb stomp by the Rams. I think they may win that game by 20 points. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Well, I think so too, but the Rams have been known to blow games.
They
And
have, and they
that's
didn't
my
finish
one
strong.
thing
That's
that
true.
I hope to God that the Rams don't come in and do that.
Well, we'll see. It looks like everything looks good for the Rams. I don't. That was just a weird division. That whole NFC South, the way that Tampa Bay was, they started out, they started out bad, got hot. The others started out, hot and got cold. I'm sorry, I got those two switched. But anyways, yeah, I know it's strange. In that game, I think that game was the perfect game to end the NFC South because that game was a microcosm of what that division was all year. Just
Just
messy,
bad.
sloppy, hard to watch, hard to define. And I think growing in the background, though, we have coming out of the shadows. Watch for the New Orleans Saints next year. I think they kind of got with Shug, their quarterback. They've got kind of a diamond in the rough there, and I think they may come out of nowhere and just make a little bit of noise in that division at least.
I think I had on my fantasy team, I had the Saints defense, right, and
Mhm.
it paid off for the couple games that I had them. So I would look to that as a strong foundational point for them. So you're right. I think that the Saints will come back. And I think as long as they kind of hammer out their quarterback situation and figure out kind of what their offensive scheme is, because right now they were all over the place. They had some running backs that showed up. You got who's that quarterback? Tyson Hill, right? Is that him?
Taysom, yeah, yeah.
Tyson Hill, right?
Mhm.
He when he has the opportunity does well. So I think if they build off of their defense for sure, right? Then if they kind of utilize a system that works for him.
Well, Taysom Hill, to me, he proved that he's not an everyday starter. That's the thing.
Yeah,
He
that's
can come in and make a little bit of noise, but just like we had, remember Cordell Stewart, guys like that who were kind of, come in and make a little bit of noise, then go back out type of a thing. But you're not going to start Taysom Hill for 17 games and have any great
yeah,
success.
but we knew that already, right? So when he took the reins on this, it's like they had to figure out if they were going to stick with their old system or develop something new, and they
Mhm.
obviously stuck with their old system because that's why we're seeing a not 17 game starter. Um, so are they going to change it? Where are we going
Well,
with this one?
Shook is going to be their starter next year. And I
Okay.
think that's the future for them going forward. And I think with him at the helm there as a signal caller, give him another season or two to really get settled in. And I think they got something.
What are they doing with Hill?
You know, keep him around. It all depends on the salary cap. We'll see what they do with him, but he's not going to be the starter. I really don't see him as a starter. Reliable backup though, because he's one of those who's the like in basketball, you have the guy who's an instant offense off the bench, the 6-man type. He can still do that. He's just not a starter. Maybe situational, where you really need that dual threat type of a guy. Keep him around for that. And do the
Yeah,
slash thing like they did in Pittsburgh some years ago.
Yeah,
And if
I
you wonder why I'm
honestly,
looking down, I'm kind of watching the Miami Hurricanes here trying to get to the national championship game as they got a 4-point lead in the third quarter over Ole Miss. But I like this game because it shows that Notre Dame is just a bunch of whiny little blue buds who didn't think that Miami should be there, thought they should have got the nod instead. And the further that Miami goes, it just shows how wrong they were. And I just love it.
yeah, the U. You know what scared me with the U is that they didn't come out swinging. Right, you had the Ole Miss run right up the middle, right to
Yeah.
the end zone, and from there, I was, I had text my brother-in-law and I said, "Man, I love the intensity that Ole Miss is showing right now." I'm not even an Ole Miss fan, right? But it was good, right? It was right out the gate. They were scoring, but
Yeah.
the U
Good
is
game.
is hanging in there. That's for sure. I think the Ole Miss is awkward because you have the whole Lane Kiffin debacle, right? Who gets to the playoffs here and then goes, I'm going to go to LSU, right? And
Well,
then you have the what's worrisome with the quarterback is the what Chanless, is that his name?
right.
Um,
Yeah.
entering the portal, right? And so Ole
That
Miss.
portal gives me headaches, man.
Yeah, well, you got 4,000 players entering the D1 portal, right?
Well, where's the accountability with anything? One, they talk about they want to get around the employee thing because if they're employees, and that means benefits and all that kind of things and workers' comp and all that stuff. So maybe if they were contracted, could they fall under like contracted workers or something? And also, I think that much like I'm an independent contractor myself, but I can't just take all the money and then say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go over here and work for some other company. So maybe that money needs to get parceled out. It's like, okay, we're going to pay you $5 million to play for our school, but you're not getting it up front. Every game, every so often, you're going to get this money, and that's that. You can't just take the bag and then say, hey, I'm headed to another school.
Yeah.
It's unregulated space. It's the Wild West.
It really is.
Terrible.
I've heard so many arguments. I know a lot of the coaches that I coach with, you have some that are like me that don't, I'm old school, right? If you're playing college ball, you're in college. You're playing ball, you signed up for that. If you can't support whatever, that's because you're playing college ball. You are working to the big leagues. You are trying to get the big money. And then even at that, work up to that, and hopefully, you at least show that you're something to get to the Super Bowl before you start to
Mhm.
get that money, right? Another coach that I coached with, he was like, "Well, it's so that they don't have that I get big money and then kind of fall off the wagon, right? You see that with like I'm gonna go to Jordan Love because Jordan Love's the guy I know the most who gets that big contract, right? And then just falls off the wagon. Um, I personally, man, I don't think they should get paid because then you have this debacle, right? You have this, oh, I played well here, and now I think that I have enough street cred to go to, or a resume, a CV, right, to go to this team. Now with Chandless for Ole Miss, I strongly believe that there might possibly be a movement to LSU
I've
with like,
I've heard that, and well, I'd say this, and here's the big problem with what you say now, because way back when, we'll say in the '60s, '70s, or whatever,
yeah,
before the NCAA became, all
yeah,
right, what were they offering these blue chip athletes? A college education for free, a full ride, and that was when the NCAA wasn't even bringing in 1/100th of what they bring in now. So the NCAA has built this empire off of college sports, and they're making this money on the backs of the players who are
yeah.
coming in. So why should this institution, which is offering the same thing they did 50 years ago, but now they're making 50 times as much money, but some of that shouldn't go to the players at all? I'm just saying, man, maybe they need a cap and they say, okay, you can be paid by a school, but maybe no college football player anywhere can make more than $1 million a year. So once you're at that, that's it. Whether you play here, there, or anywhere, because now you have some of these private investors, guys, and I think it was the coach for, was it Arizona State, who was publicly looking for an angel to pump money into their program so that they can pay players to come to their school.
Yeah.
It was a
Modern,
shameless, almost a GoFundMe.
yeah, modern day at over by y'all, right? They had a donor that brought all those players there so that they could go from modern day to D1. And guess what? This past year he got busted for recruiting.
Yeah,
Right. But I don't this is my problem though. So hear me out with this one. Me, I'm old school, right?
I get you.
I'm the guy who's gonna, when I was out there on the field, I was using my face as a weapon, right?
You
Um,
still can. It's a
and
little
I still,
different, but anyways,
yeah,
yeah.
I still can.
Oh, that
But
was a little late getting there, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. Well, that shows
Okay.
that I probably have CTE, and we'll roll with it, right? Uh, but the thing is, right? I really don't think so. You're there for that education, free
I get
ride.
it.
Get the education, right? You play your sport, and if again, opportunity. If you're not good enough to go to the league, well, you get the experience. You get the experience of college ball, and guess what? Go. Because my problem with the money is now you have this stupid trickle down. Which, by the way, it'll end up in high school.
Yeah,
Texas is prepping for it right now.
yeah.
Texas is prepping for, or UIL is prepping for the same deals happening at
Mhm.
high school football. But then we have this problem. We talked about this every week, so I got to bring it up again. Crappy linemen, weak players, never hitting because they don't want to get nobody hurt. And you have the now what I'm going to say the trickle up effect. That's how gravity works, right? Um, is now you have that same thing. And again, we go back to the players are not lasting as long as they used to because the money decides how they practice. So at some point, you have to say, do we want the safety or the money?
Right. And, I'm sorry. When you're deciding between anything and money, we know who wins, right?
You get the money.
Right. Exactly.
That's all right.
Everybody.
As you said, it's all about the
And it's
Benjamins.
not only that, if okay, and a lot of things work out this way where you can have an institution or whatever, which is all about the money and all the decisions they make are based on revenue. But when they come to you, who's the common man, and you're supposed to make your decisions based on your morals and values and such, when all their decisions are based on how much money it brings in. So there's an imbalance there. And that's really what I don't like about certain systems is that they're the only ones allowed to go after the money. But you, even though you may be their partner or something, you're supposed to go to your sense of decency and morality and all those other things and not worry about the money, even though that's 98% of what they do.
Right.
That's my
Well,
issue with that is it's there's an imbalance there.
well, that's the whole woke thing, right? They were doing that stuff not because they were, morally felt
Right.
bad. They were doing that because that was a way to expand money, right? Expand
Sure.
capital. That was the
Right.
way they did it. And they're still trying to do that because they've realized that, hey, it's still kind of working. Um, and so you're right, right? As Benjamin's run it, but us who are the poor folk, and I'm going to say,
Mhm.
we are the ones that need to be morally, upstanding and feel bad to
Right.
give them money. We should feel
You need
so
you
bad.
need to stay broke for the greater good while
Yeah.
they just try to make as much money as they can.
Yeah. We should feel so bad that we should just hand them our wallets and our houses
Exactly.
and
Yes.
everything that we own. They should have it because we feel bad that I don't know, right? And then we should feel bad that they don't have enough money. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Crack the
Right.
code, man. We crack the code. And, like I said, opportunity, and it's about communication. We crack the code. So, let's look at when you talked about line play. Okay, you're one of the few who truly understands that. I'll admit, even I watch a lot of football, but line play, looking at the O line and how they play, I mean, other than the overt thing, someone gives up, they give up 8 sacks in a game or something, and you have somebody just busting up the middle. I get that. But
Yeah.
I just get tired of the whole thing of line play. It's used as this kind of a buzzword for when you have really bad quarterbacks. And
Yeah.
everyone says, oh, it's the O line. Oh, it's the O line. They said that about Tua, who's playing for the Dolphins. Well, the O line is bad. Well, the O line is bad. Okay, I'm going to give you something here. Chicago Bears, they
Yeah.
went from 5-12 to 11-6 this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars, 4-13 last year, 13-4 this year. So what happened? Did the O line just suddenly get better? What happened? They have
So
5 new guys up there? And they
Yeah.
talked
So
about Trevor Lawrence last year, and they said, we need to protect him. The O-line has to do this. They got to do this. And they're not protecting him. So all of a sudden, they just figured out blocking schemes just
So the
overnight.
people, okay, so hear me out, right? I was actually line. I know line play so well, like
Yeah.
back of my hand.
Mhm.
Been a thousand, no, not thousands. I'm not gonna say thousands, but I've been a few dozen lineman camp because that's all you can fit into one season, right? Um, I think though people that say that it's the line play and that's the first thing they go to, right, are always people who favor the skilled players, right? Or they always say skilled players. To me, the linemen are skilled players, right? Those are the people who are live, breathe, eat, and sleep skilled football players, right? They
Mhm.
got I'm a quarterback. I want to play quarterback, right? Truth is that the only thing they played quarterback was opening a beer on their couch for a Sunday game, right?
Right.
And so they say when anything goes wrong, they want to blame the lineman, but you can break it down, right? You can have a really bad quarterback have, 4 or 5 seconds of pass and still not do anything with it.
Yeah, that's to it.
Uh, yeah, and that's the thing. So you can see that. Was
Mhm.
Miami's line the problem? No, because you can watch seriously, you can watch Tua work through his progressions, and then when he's throwing an interception to an outside linebacker who's sitting
Mhm.
in his zone by himself, right?
Right.
And then get to the bench and not have that blank look on his face, that Tua look, right?
Mhm. I know the
It's
look.
like
Yeah.
it's like that's Tua's fault. Okay, Caleb Williams, Eberflus. That was it, right?
Yeah,
It was
that's
the
true.
organization.
Yeah.
The problem with saying it was the line play with Eberflus' system is that you had no freaking idea because there was no organization on the field, right?
Right.
So for him, and I know people want to say, well, he was a Heisman, he did so well in college, but the problem is that you have pre-Heisman Caleb Williams and post-Heisman Caleb Williams, right? Pre-Heisman was the guy that we all want to see on the field. Post-Heisman was the guy that we got with Eberflus, you know.
Yeah.
So again, was that the line? No. We got post-Heisman Caleb Williams on a system that was crappy because Eberflus had no idea what his first 10,
Yeah.
20, or 30 plays were,
Mhm.
right? As a head coach, you
Preach,
should
my
tell your
brother.
players to go to the offensive coordinator. You should already know it because you're the guy that leads that, right? And that's why he got fired from the Cowboys because you have all that skill on the field. And what do you do with it? Nothing. But then again, Jerry Jones is a terrible manager and GM and CEO and whatever, right? So he hired him because well, it shows that bad owners and people that don't really know anything hire other people that don't really know anything.
Right. Yeah.
Because then
And they
have
can't tell you they're wrong.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
and then when people do know something, you end up like Jimmy Johnson and
Exactly.
right? You got us at Super Bowl, now you're out. Um,
Yeah.
but that's the point. With him, it wasn't the line, right? So people don't break that down. They don't look at the footwork of the line. You could tell right away who's a good lineman, who's not,
Mhm.
by just their first step, their first glide step, right? Or on a block, right? If they have a nice reach block, and you see the footwork just kind of be smooth, no imperfections, no stuttering, just a
Yeah.
fluid motion. Guess what? You can't say it's the line, but then again, who knows line play? Who knows it?
And you know what? This is one of those things that's almost like when it gets into politics where people just kind of parrot things that they heard from what they think is a reliable source. You got fans who don't know the difference between a guard and a tackle, but they can tell you whether or not line play was good or not in a game just because they heard it somewhere. And
Right.
honestly, it's one of those things where it's hard to say that that wasn't the issue. They say, oh, it was the offensive line, and that's it. And what are you supposed to do? Go back and watch the entire game, frame by frame, and say, okay, I spent the last 4 hours rewatching that game that you talked about, and it's not the line play.
Yeah, but
Especially
that's
got some of these pundits saying the same thing. They've got to get him more protection. It's like, no, he needs to learn to identify past his hot read and go to his other options. That's what needs to happen.
right. But look at who the political or not the I'm sorry, I say political because that's the first half of the show. The sports pundits, right? Look at who's in the box. You have receivers and quarterbacks and guys that announce golf, which I don't know how you do that. It's impressive, right?
Like
And the
Brad
only,
Doherty doing NASCAR, but go on.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the only thing we got going, the only lineman that's been in the box that I've seen over, I want to say 20 years now,
Mhm.
right? is the only three guys that I can say off the top of my head, and two of them aren't even linemen; they were tight ends, right? You had John Madden.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the tight end, the man who was kind of like a Kittle type player, and I'm not gonna say like it, but I'm not gonna make that comparison as cut and dry. He was a lineman that could block well, and he could. Okay, so not Kittle. He could do the line blocking stuff of Kittle, and then John
Well,
Madden.
he's a pass catcher. But yeah, Jason Witten, I think, did a little work in the.
Yeah, but okay. So going back to it, right? Then you had Olsen, right?
Greg
Greg
Olson, yeah.
from the Bears, and then you have Kelsey. Those are the. Oh no, I'm sorry, I forgot the what's his name from the Rams on Thursday.
Jackie Slater.
No, the guy from the Rams on Thursday. Is that his name? Bald guy, gray hair. Wears the sweatshirt and the
Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah, there you go.
Not about
Right?
because Jackie Slater also does a lot of stuff as well. He's from
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot about him. You're right. You're right.
But they're good to the O line. I like that. Rams,
Yeah.
they keep their O line in the in the loop out here as far as the Rams and their whole brotherhood. I like that.
But see where I'm going with that though. You got what 4, 5 linemen in the box,
and
then you got receivers and quarterbacks, and you Troy Aikman who has no idea where he's at.
Well, Troy Aikman, no, I liked it the way he was on a game, the Dolphins, and he was beside himself because Tua was so bad. He ran out of ways to analyze it. It was just, I thought he was going to have a stroke mid-broadcast because Tua was just so horrible and Aikman could not stand it. It was sad to see. And here, he's like, you just can't do that at this level. I don't know what he's looking at when he snaps the ball. Here's this. Why would he even throw it? Look, his player is not even in the, it was like one of those type of things. Like someone had to say, hey, let's go to commercial and calm Troy down.
Yeah.
It's bad. And I'm glad Tua's
having a CTE freak out right now.
Tua's going to be gone. Mike McDaniel was just canned today. I hope we get Jim Harbaugh. I want Jim Harbaugh in Miami. I do.
Yeah. But, okay, so I'm going to ask this question. You are a Fins fan, live, eat, breathe, sleep, die hard Fins fan. As long as I have known you, was the curse of Mike McDaniel because of Tua and keeping Tua and giving Tua that money and believing, because I've gotten into this idea that, sometimes when I coach that I think that there's players that are good, and after a while you gotta let them go, right? You say, I have done as much as I can for you, but you are not listening.
Well, okay.
Was his problem that?
You could say that he was saddled with Tua because Tua was Chris Greer's boy. And Chris Greer was the one who drafted him instead of Justin Herbert. And he had the advice of Brian Flores to get Justin Herbert instead. And he wanted Tua. So was he playing Tua just because the deposed GM had told him to? I mean, we may never know. I think he babied Tua a lot along the way because they were saddled with him. But, at the end of the day, I think there's the accountability. It has to trickle down. And McDaniel being if he's a strong coach, he should have been willing to just, put it on the line and realize he can't work with this guy and do whatever he has to do. Because remember, let's get real about it when it comes to these coaches losing their jobs. Not like you and I losing our jobs. If you lose your job tomorrow, there'd be financial hardship in your home. Okay? If I lose my job, there's a problem. These guys lose their jobs, they still got $10, $20 million in the bank. So it's really about pride. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Now, there's the other option. Do you think, hear me out, do you think that they were waiting for Tua to decide one day that he was going to go ahead and leave to study cannabis for a while? Were they going to wait for that? They were saying, dear God, I hope we have a Ricky Williams situation right now.
No. In fact, I just wanted to tell you that when it comes to quarterbacks, or I'll say football players in general, using cannabis because they have some problems as far as, with the headaches and things from concussions, I don't agree with them using it while they're playing. After your career's over, that's fine. But what the last thing that you need, as far as I see it, is if you have your brain is getting injured, to be using something that masks that. Because if you do permanent injury to your brain, that's it. That's going to affect you for the rest of your life. So I'm not in favor of players using cannabis to mask the effects of head trauma within the game. That's me. I don't think they should do that. It has nothing to do with whether or not I think cannabis should be legal or not. I'm saying in this particular situation, when players have issues that are brought on by head trauma, I don't think they should use cannabis to mask those symptoms. They shouldn't, because it'll cause long-term issues.
Yeah, well, where do you stop with that, right? You might as well just go
Right.
straight to the opium plant and go ahead
And get yourself a cup to drool into,
yeah, get
because that's
yourself
what you'd be doing.
right. So where do you stand with breakout players that are going to be probably one of the best running backs in the league for a long time?
Well, you know what? We got to stay in Miami because, Devon Achane, I think he's going to be a big deal. This was kind of his breakout year. And I like Quinn Ewers at quarterback. I do like the future for Miami because we got to remember that last game that they lost against New England, but Achane was out and also Jalen Waddle was out too. And you had Quinn Ewers making only his second start in the league. So I like what Quinn Ewers, I like the way that he can see the field and read it. I like him. Horns up.
Horns up, brother.
Horns up. There you go.
Right. Or if you're the stupid Aggies fans, horns down, brother. But we're going to go ahead and hook him because I'm a huge Ewers fan. They'll probably get on me about being wrong about this. I don't know. This got yeah.
And the best part is they've got Ewers on his rookie deal, only $1 million a year for the next 3 years. So they'll be able to absorb that horrible cap hit from Tua, whatever it happens to be. But they're in a position to move on. They fell backwards into their new quarterback, and now we can get a good coach in there, and we can develop him. That's why I like Harbaugh, because he works with that type of a quarterback. Remember, he's the guy who worked with Joe Flacco. It was about Flacco and a strong run game and good defense. It was how he won that Super Bowl. And what have we got in Miami? We got a good run game. We got a Flacco, at least, type of a quarterback who can make the throws that he needs to make. And Miami surprisingly wound up, the defense kind of played well this year.
They had good aspects. I'm going to say that, right? They had things where if you look at kind of like if they reorganized and they, they gave a little more offensive weapons, right, to utilize.
Yeah.
And the defense has a little more. The defense did well. I'm going to say that they did not
can't stay on the field for 45 minutes a game. That's the problem,
right? And that's where you saw a lot of this past weekend's play too, right? Is that the defenses were out there for so long that the games could have gone, 6 to 1, half dozen to the other each time, right? If you look at the like the Steelers game, right? It's like that defense was out there. Dear God, that defense was out there the whole game. It's like, what? Old man Rodgers was old man Favre that night. But so it's like, you can't keep your defense out there the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back.
What we should do is go ahead and pick these games for this upcoming weekend.
Let me finish my soap opera here. Okay. Yeah, let me finish my soap opera here. Okay. So you can't leave defense out, especially if you're Miami, where your offense is going to get like 2 yards a game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and the defense knows no matter what they do, they're going back out. When Tua was the quarterback, they know that no matter what they do, they're going to be back out on the field in a minute and a half.
Right.
He's going to go out. He's going to go 3 and out, and that's it. You barely get a rest. Even though you made an interception, did whatever, you can't catch a break.
Right.
You get to drink that much Gatorade, and then it's back out on the field.
You don't even get time to take off your helmet, right? You might as well just kind of tilt it up a little bit to drink that Gatorade, then put it back down. Anyway,
so knows that, man.
Yeah. So let's move on. All right. You're asking for Harbaugh, right? Harbaugh.
I am.
I say Harbaugh. I don't know why. It's definitely probably not how you say that, and I don't care. Maybe one day when I get to interview him, I'll care at that point, right?
I interviewed his brother.
Oh, did you really?
I did. Jim Harbaugh.
Good for you.
Good guy. Odd fellow. Good guy. That's my takeaway from him.
Love his glasses, right? The glasses, really, Anyway, do you think he was sitting there that night going, damn, I wish we had looked past all those happy endings to keep Tucker here tonight?
Not giving you that, man.
Come on now.
I'm not giving you that. No.
Come on.
Low-hanging fruit.
Come on.
Borderline dad joke. I can't let you have it, man.
You got to let me have it. Come on. I texted it to you just for this purpose. You should have known that this one was going to show up on this screen today.
Oh.
Come on.
All I know is that
was a chip shot. That was a chip shot for Tucker.
I know.
It was a chip shot.
That was for anybody.
No,
Honestly,
he could. No,
any NFL kicker should have made that field goal.
but for Tucker, he could have been 6, 7 beers deep and still got that one.
Yeah, true that. But you know what? Tucker did have a lot of problems last season. And I mean on the field.
Hey, now you're playing out my joke right there, huh?
Yeah.
He did have some problems, you're right. But who would have thought, right? You have Bosworth, who misses his second field goal, since 2023,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then you have everybody on the sidelines gearing up. You even saw Lamar; he's over there trying to celebrate while
Yeah.
that kick is midair. That goes, and so hear me out, right? Bosworth doinks it. Loop kicks it to the other side of the stadium, right? Which one are you more mad about, the doink or the fact that he missed the field goal post by at least 10 yards?
Well, you know what? When you look at how that game ended, there's only one thing to be mad at. There's only one. Because all sports, as we know, it's all this whole thing of you get just so many chances because you get a chance to execute and you may miss it. You get a chance, but there's always a chance for redemption. And then it comes down to the very end and you have that one final shot at redemption. If he makes that field goal, then it erases all the wrongs and cleanses all the sins that Baltimore may have made during that game. But instead, he misses it, and suddenly all the sins of Pittsburgh are washed away. That's the way it goes. It's brutal, but that's why you have to be a clutch player, because clutch is those very moments that you get. Just no matter what happened before, you can now just erase that and make things good for yourself and your team. And I'm sure that Bosworth was he was the last one.
Yeah, well, it definitely.
I'm sorry, not Bosworth. I was thinking about the Boss,
Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers was lucky because once more he got away with one. Right, he got away with one. He was thinking, "Man, this is it. I'm a little bit sad." You see his sad Aaron Rodgers face, and then he's like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? It was like kind of that.
Well, we'll see what happens this week because they got the prime time. The Monday night game at 5:00 is going to be in Pittsburgh when the Houston Texans come to town, which I think that's Texans are our favorite in that game. But look, we can go ahead and pick them in order though.
Yeah, I pulled the bracket up. I don't have a pen, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch this.
I got them right here, man. I got them right here. So
all right,
we already picked the Rams in Carolina. That's the first game.
Hold on. So we're starting on the NFC side. All right. So you got Rams and Carolina.
That's 1:30 Pacific time on Saturday. Yeah. First game of the weekend is the Rams at Carolina.
I am going to go with the Rams on this one. I think that Stafford is still in his prime, which is weird to say, or at least the tail end of it, right? So he's still got it. I think Puka Nacua is rocking and rolling right now. I think that all they need to do is have their defense show up for the day.
Yeah.
Which is, it's Bryce Young, doesn't have the experience, right? This is his first real season where he's doing really well. So it's kind of you're not settled down currently. It's the same thing when you put a full-on blitz on Caleb Williams, he doesn't settle down. So I think that if they keep that in mind and the fact that they only have one receiver that is kind of their go-to guy. So if you force McMillan kind of to be ran out of the play, somewhere else, and you force them to go their second look or third look, you're right. I think the Rams will have that one, and I'm not gonna say soundly, right? But I am gonna say they're gonna. It could be a sound victory.
It could get ugly. That's what I'm saying. It could.
It could. Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna keep it a little bit closer. I'm gonna err on the side of caution.
Okay.
Because it's how much is that young quarterback gonna bring for his first trip to the playoffs?
I get you. Yeah.
All right,
and he is the unknown quantity, but we're both going Rams on there. And then I like the night game though in Chili Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Your Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. This is going back. This is Bart Starr and Sid Luckman.
Yeah, absolutely. Bart Starr, man. I love Bart. It was fun to see him at least be carted onto the field. when I was growing
Hmm.
up. And I love actually watching some film of him. I go back often. Not him as a coach, terrible coach, great football player.
But the ultimate field general. Yep, I
Yeah.
get you.
He was really the first guy to at least for the Packers to start becoming a gunslinging type offense, right? To start
Hmm.
throwing it. So I give him props for
Well,
that.
he
But
didn't have a big arm though. But he,
what?
he was
Well,
slinging a bit, but he didn't have a big arm.
no, he wasn't. He
He
wasn't
wasn't
Brett
Johnny
Favre.
U.
Yeah, he wasn't Brett Favre. Is what I was gonna say. Um,
I go Johnny U, you go Brett Favre. Okay, we can
yeah.
tell
Well, we
different
talk about the
generation.
Packers. Why not? Anyway, so we got him not once, not twice. I don't know why I'm over here thinking that the screen can see my hands all the way. Not once, not twice. We got him three times, and now, God, I'm gonna go with the Packers and hear me out. That I think that if they keep the pressure on Caleb Williams, and throw some blitzes in there, but then again, how is Love going to show up? Is Van Ness going to be able to fill the shoes of Micah
Is sure
Parsons?
is Love playing?
As far as I know, he's out. He's playing right now.
Okay, all right.
I don't want him to. I'd prefer Malik Willis. I think it was a breath of fresh air to see a good quarterback from a good program
Mhm.
play and get the ball, not throw the ball up there, on that big like alley oop, and actually kind of put the ball where it needed to be with the right arc.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love's my question. Van Ness is my question as well, right? And then Trevon Diggs, we saw him with the Cowboys, who was not really doing as well as he you should be doing,
Right.
right? So I have question marks, but I, as a diehard Packer fan for 33 years of my life, guess what? I'm rolling with them. The Bears are going to put a good game. This one will go into overtime. It'll be overtime game. Absolutely.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it'll be another overtime game, and as long as we don't let Dobbs be on the special hand, the quick hands team,
Hmm.
right? As long as we don't let him out there, who should have just let the gosh dang ball roll out of the freaking field, right? When you're a half a yard away from the sideline, let it go, let it go, just like in that movie Frozen, let it go.
Well, here's what I got to do. And by the way, of course, we get to the Eagles next, but I like what Caleb Williams is doing. And he shows definitely a lot of upside. And he took major steps this year. Like they
Yeah,
talk about though, he doesn't identify properly when he's got guys open, which he'll work on. But
that
I
comes
think
with
they're going to win this game. No Micah Parsons. That's the difference for this game. If Micah Parsons is healthy and in this game, I would be taking the Packers. But because
yeah,
there's
you're
no
right.
Micah
But
Parsons, you won't
that's
be
one
able
of
to
my
get those few plays. I think it's going to be Chicago at Soldier Field, and it's going to be frozen, cold, and your Packers are going home, and they're going home, and next year come back with a healthy Micah Parsons, and maybe it'll be different.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Right. I'm
Yeah,
with you on that one. I think if I could give a most improved player for the league,
yeah.
right, Caleb Williams would be the guy. He has surprised me in the steps he took forward.
Hmm.
That's for sure. So, yeah, he can orchestrate. But again, if they get pressure on him, he doesn't settle down when he gets flustered.
That's why if Micah Parsons was playing, I would be picking the Packers, but he's not.
But Quay Walker can have that same intensity if he can get through the line. Sometimes he just sits back and does
Right,
nothing too, right?
right.
So I know. Here's my deal.
Too big a piece to be missing. That's all. But as far as
Yeah,
I see it, it's
I'm
a good.
conflicted. Love the Packers. I will vote for the Packers. They're the team I'm going with. But am I a little skeptical of that pick? Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit, a
yeah.
little bit. I can be that though. Yeah, you're right. So next, here's the game. Here's the game, and I tell you what, I don't know who to vote for in this one because I hate the Eagles and I can't find myself voting for Frisco. Um, I think that the Eagles are going to take this one. I think that right now Frisco is injured without Bosa there. With Purdy, again, I told you this. What
Without
I
Fred
say,
Warner,
what?
without Fred
And yeah,
Warner, also
Warner,
linebacker
yeah,
for us to kind of toast.
yeah. Purdy is not the he. I don't know. He's not a consistent quarterback. He's a
Well, I think
two-play.
you're not giving the Seahawks enough credit for that defense. The Seahawks
But
are
but that's the thing, though. The Seahawks put the pressure on him, right? I think the Eagles are going to do the same thing. I really do. I think the Eagles are going to put the pressure on him, and I don't think he's going to. He's never been able to settle down when pressure comes his way, right? And then so he forces the dump off route
mhm.
to McCafferty, and McCafferty is man. I don't know. There's a point when you should kind of look at yourself and say, Am I done?" You know what I mean? And
Well,
I
it's
think
like when
I
guys
think
start scheming for you, that's a whole different thing. And also, you got to have the personnel to do it.
yeah,
So the Seahawks, when they beat them in the last game, it was the Seahawks had the personnel to do it. Now with all these things I'm bringing up, I'm still going to take the Eagles. They're 5.5-point favorites. They're playing at home. I think they're going to win this game, and this is also why Nick Sirianni is easy to criticize, and people say he should have played as starters. That way, they could have gotten the 2 instead of the 3 and guaranteed themselves home games. But I think the way they see it is the Eagles, a healthy Eagles team, can beat anyone in front of them. And they also were not going to win the number 1 seed. That was going to Seattle no matter what. I don't think the Eagles are afraid of the Niners. I don't think they're afraid of playing the Chicago. If Chicago advances, they may ultimately have to play Chicago at Soldier Field, but it doesn't matter. The field's 100 yards. The weather is crappy, just like it is in Philly.
yeah.
So I hate to back Sirianni because he's kind of weird and it's easy
I
to
don't like.
criticize.
Yeah. See,
Yeah. I know. But I'm going to side with him, and
yeah,
I
that's
think the
fine.
Eagles come through
I'm taking.
game on Sunday.
I'm rolling with the Eagles too.
Yeah.
I think that Jalen Hurd again. He's in his prime. He's got a lot to give the team still. Very
Mhm.
rarely does he make like a real mistake. You know, where it's just kind of like him messing up. So he's. And I'm gonna say rarely.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, they are the defending Super Bowl champs, so let's
yeah.
go ahead and give credit where it's due, right?
That's what I'm saying, right? Rarely will you see him like mess up to where it's like a blatant like him mistake,
Mhm.
right? And not just like a very slight misread. And you start to see a little bit of fumble time here this past season, but that's all right. I think he's still got it. And again, I would never root for the 49ers, so I'm going with the Eagles on that one. Okay.
All right, that is the second game on Sunday. That's 1:30 Pacific time, but we skipped over the first game, which is this is interesting for me. The Bills in Jacksonville, that 10 o'clock game on Sunday morning.
That one,
Yeah.
that one, yeah. So
Mm.
I had to tell you, I had a buddy that was at that game, right? And he was at that last game. He was hoping for that snow at their stadium for the last one. They'll be there.
Uh-huh.
Ended up raining, so he was not too happy about that. But when he left, he said, "Well, they'll find a way to blow it." And so I'm going to say this. This might come as a shock, but I think that they will find a way to blow this game.
So Jacksonville, 1.5 favorite, playing at home. It's supposed to be perfect weather there in Florida, as it is most of the time, unless a hurricane comes through. So,
Or yeah, or you're at the Bucks. This
see,
past year.
Jacksonville, this is really their first year. I'm always wondering about these teams. It's their first year being really, really good, which what Jacksonville win like the last 8 games in a row or something like that. So they have a couple of things. One, there's the playoff pressure. Now there's the expectations. Also, at a certain point, you're working against the law of averages too. You play
Yeah,
enough
but look
games,
at
you
his.
have to lose one at some point. And
But
Josh Allen, he's got experience. And if it's close, is this one of those things where Josh Allen
what
just
does he have
figures out a way to
experience at?
pull this out?
What does he have experience at? He blows it every single year he gets there.
Right, but not this early. Not this early. So this is going to be a game. I'll say this. I am picking Jacksonville, but if I had an upset alert game, it would be this game right here. Because Lawrence, even though I remember that great comeback he had against the Chargers a few years ago in Florida. That
Yeah,
was great. So he definitely can play some good ball, and I like their coach. Liam Cohen is playing. He's got the boys motivated. I really like the way that he presents himself. But yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville. But you know what? Yeah.
you got to
Mm,
look at the Bills' history,
mm.
brother. You got to look at them and say,
Oh, I get
can the
you.
Bills? Can the
This is
Bills
look,
shake
they
the curse?
disappoint their fans later in the season. Okay,
Yeah.
not this.
But listen,
No, it's
man.
got to be at least divisional road divisional round when their fans really have hope. Like, we're gonna get there the first time since Jim Kelly.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, right? If you come out in a press conference and say, "Yeah, I should have played better. It was my fault," right? That's not a Super Bowl quarterback. I
And if
get
the
it. He's
Bills
great.
lose this
Josh
game,
Josh Allen's great. And like I said, man, he could run up to that line. He could do that whole shovel pass somewhere
mhm,
else, throw off the linebackers, or at least freeze them, right, to get a free 5 yards
yeah,
there. Or he can run up, get a touchdown, or he can pass the ball. Got it, right? I believe it. I believe it. 100%. I believe he's got the skill to
yeah,
take the team there and orchestrate the offense in a way that really no defense could stop, right? Because then it's like you either get, you get the pass, you get the shovel, or you get Josh Allen just going to truck you, run over you,
right.
right?
Jacksonville's got good defense though.
That's what
I
I'm
think they
saying.
should be able to
Jacksonville,
shut that
yeah,
down. I'm
but
taking
still though,
Jacksonville.
right? But
What?
for me to see Lawrence and Jacoby Myers, I think that was a great pickup that they had. I
Hmm.
think the Raiders were not utilizing Jacoby Myers as he should have been, right? So
Well, the Raiders don't utilize anything as they should, do they?
no, no,
What
no.
do they utilize other than, well, never mind.
Well,
I
Pete
won't make a
Carroll's
tasteless joke.
hear me out. Pete Carroll's big idea was to bring or not James Winston. I'm sorry, Geno Smith with him, and we knew how that was going to turn out, right? Um,
Clock struck midnight on that, brother. That's all I can
yeah,
say.
yeah.
We knew how bad Geno Smith was.
Clock struck midnight on Geno Smith like 10 years ago. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna say that if Lawrence and Jacoby Myers could be connecting as they should and as they have been doing, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, we got it.
All righty. So we're going to agree there with Jacksonville, and then we move on to the night game. Patriots.
This one to me is
Chargers.
interesting. This one because so many things could happen here, right? Being from the area near LA, I'm not gonna say I'm from LA because I don't want to be associated with LA, right?
Wait a
Um,
minute, man.
I'm a
I'm
Kingston man.
LA, homie.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
born in LA, right near
yeah,
MacArthur Park, okay? Queen of Angels Hospital.
yeah.
Old
I get,
condemned building now, but
no, I get that, but me,
yeah, you're from the OC. Yeah, you
I'm
Mickey
from
Mouse.
Orange
You all
County,
that.
right? Huntington
OC in
Beach,
the house. Yeah,
yeah,
I get you.
Huntington Beach, right? Uh, you know, I don't want to say I'm from like LA, I'm near LA, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers. But because
In New England at
so
night when it's going to be chilly and
yeah,
Justin Herbert,
what is
his
the ghost?
hand is going to be like,
What is the ghost of
oh,
Aaron
you get
Hernandez
back
gonna
there.
show up to that game or what?
What's that?
Right? Is the ghost of Aaron Hernandez gonna show up to that game? I think that
I remember his post touchdown celebration. We'd be digging, and I had no idea that he was like miming, trying to mimic
like
digging up and
literally
burying a body.
digging for the bodies. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
actually burying a body.
yeah,
He was digging a grave out there in the woods, and we never knew it.
yeah, yeah. Let's say, man. But anyway, so here's what could go. Here's how this game could go, right? You got Herbert. Herbert gets on a good run. Okay.
Mhm.
The Chargers defense has been good. They have been on it, right? And again, it's a situation of how long could the defense be out on the field? Can they be out on the field for the entire game? No. We experienced that, right? Steelers, 49ers, right? 49ers were out there the entire game. And even every time they got some momentum going, Brock Purdy got out there, sucked, right? Same thing. Aaron Rodgers got out there and sucked. Herbert can do that. He can get out there and suck. And then you have the Chargers defense that plays fairly well, have to carry the load all game long. Now, if Herbert decides to play, and we have like Keenan Allen show up, right, ready to go, because if you get all those those records, right, and you beat like Antonio Gates, okay, if
Yeah.
you get that, you need to show up for this game. If he shows up, if the offensive line keeps doing what they're doing, um, then that's going to be a problem, right? Because when you have the most sacked quarterback, you've got an issue, right? So you got to get the line to do, and this is where I talk about bad line play, right? They don't have good coaching. I'm sorry to say that, but if you have a quarterback be sacked the most times, both in Charger history and I think for the season, right? For the season in the NFL, um, you need to
Okay.
figure that out. So I think if they figure out the line or there's some type of new routes that they throw out there for again a quick pass, a dump off route, something
Hmm.
to move that ball. Herbert and a rhythm could do really well. But again, you have the line as the factor. That's the one thing. They cannot seem to get their footwork right. They have hiccups when they take that glide step. Double teams go wrong because they don't communicate. We talk about communicating. That's the number one thing.
Hmm.
Now, Patriots. Okay. If we go with the Patriots, you have the classic Drake May rollout. He will always roll out. You'll have that tight end run a 5 to 10 yard out route, and that'll be easy money. But for the Chargers defense, who's been playing really well, and if they aren't on the field the entire time, I don't think that they could have that. I think that's a weapon that they will take away easily. And again, is Stephon Diggs playing?
Yeah, he's well, maybe,
So
maybe.
you don't have
Well,
if
Vrabel is coaching though. You know.
Yeah, but you need to have somebody to run. So on that 5 yard, 10 yard out route, you got to have somebody over the top to occupy, safeties and cornerbacks that are going to that deep zone. So
Well,
that's the only way that Drake May can keep that same system. Roll out left, roll out right, right there. Their running backs are not necessarily the best. And some
mhm.
people can argue with me that, but they haven't been like breakout players. So which
Well,
one
I
do you
think
go?
with
They're
the
they're both
Chargers.
they're both fairly one-dimensional.
Well, the Chargers, and here's why I'm going to pick. I'm picking New England here, but the reason why is we got to look at the Chargers. When you look at the injuries to Justin Herbert and all the sacks, all these type of things, when things really changed was when Najee Harris went down with the injury. When I forget if it was an Achilles or an ACL that Najee Harris got injured early in the season. He was supposed to be their featured back. I don't think the Chargers truly recover from that, and they've had make because I like Harbaugh's a good coach. He was a good coach. He figured things out, got them an offense that'll work. I think that's why they made it to the playoffs. But here's where it's going to. You got Vrabel, who's a former linebacker. He knows how to scheme for these things. You know,
He's a
you got
great
a
coach.
quarterback
We gotta give him
who's got
credit.
to be their best running back also. I don't think they have enough to go in there and beat New England in Foxborough, where it's going to be probably a bit a mite chilly. We'll just call it a mite
Yeah.
chilly. Yeah. So I got New England here because I just think there's a few too many injuries on the side of the Chargers, and the main thing is not having Najee Harris in the backfield. If he's in
Yeah,
the backfield, then probably you know I'd probably be going with them. They probably wouldn't even be playing in this particular game, in this particular place, because their record would have been better.
yeah.
But they've been trying kind of getting through with Herbert being their best running back, and I don't think that can carry them through. So I got New England winning this game.
Okay, but I just want you to put that on record that the guy from LA is not voting for the LA Chargers. Okay, can you put that on record? Say
Yeah, I
I
do. Yes, yes.
okay, say I, Charles, am not voting for the LA team.
I'm not, and you know what? That's the San Diego Chargers. It just
They will
LA
always yeah,
Chargers
you're right.
does not work. That's the San Diego Chargers.
They will
That's
always be San Diego. I remember
exactly.
Qualcomm
Dan Fouts,
Stadium.
Kellen Winslow. Yes,
Yeah,
those are the
you're
San
right.
Diego Chargers. That's
I
what they are.
consider them, and to be honest, I hardly even remember like the new Chargers. Like my mind always goes back to that Philip Rivers game that I was at with
Right.
Junior Seau and LT. And now you mention LT, and everyone's like, "Who's LT?" And it's like, how do you not know who LaDainian Thompson is?
Yeah.
Thomason, right? How do you not know?
Yeah.
How do you not know?
That's this generation. That's
Yeah,
this generation. Don't get me
I mean,
started on
I had
who's
that
here
same
and
helmet. I had that same helmet. I had the Bulldog helmet, the DNA shoot, same thing. It's not DNA. Yeah, DNA shoot. That's exactly it. So
all you
anyway,
had to do was run out of bounds to avoid contact, and you were LT, right? Okay.
well, no,
So
see, I never was a running back, so I just want you to know that.
got you. Let's get to that Monday night game, man.
I was the
The
Monday
weekend.
night. Here we go. This is
Yeah.
it, and I tell you what, I am going to stick
Oh,
with
Texans are a dome team. Remember, they're used to ideal conditions, and the high in Pittsburgh is supposed to be, I think, 33 degrees, and this is a night game, so it's going to be in the 20s.
I'm gonna stick with Rodgers. I got to. I got to.
Oh, there you go.
I
Okay.
got to. I got to stick with Rodgers. I know that Packers fans all across the world right now, including Paul McCartney, are probably saying, right, I don't like Aaron Rodgers, right? He needs to go on to one of those ayahuasca retreats. But I gotta say, he has impressed me this season. He has. He has shown that there is some Aaron Rodgers left to give at like 400 years old.
There is some Aaron Rodgers left to give. All
Yeah,
right. That's a beautiful quote.
there is.
May I quote you?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, quote
Okay.
me.
All right.
There is some Aaron Rodgers left to give.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I think that if they bring it 100% and they do what they do, Aaron Rodgers can orchestrate. His biggest problem, by the way, is that he just hasn't had the people, right? The line gives him time, but he just hasn't had the people to. And by God, don't run that stupid play where you sweep to the right and shovel it to the left, thinking you're going to get that touchdown. That was the dumbest play call I have ever seen. Everybody in the stadium could have looked at that and said, there are too many people on that side of the field to make that work, right? They should have just ran up the field. They should have given it to Williams and or Warren. I'm sorry, Warren, and ran up the field. You know what I
You
mean?
know, this is a tough game for me. Defense wins championships. I always say, that was Bill Parcells who said that. He made that famous. But
Yeah, it worked out.
Texans have the best defense in the league.
Real quick, it worked out for Parcells in '96, right?
That was when the Packers won, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if you had Drew Bledsoe, who I told everybody before the game, I said he's guaranteed to throw 4 interceptions in the game.
Well, when you have Drew Bledsoe looking at
1,
Reggie,
and a 2, and a 3, and a 4.
yeah. Well, because if you're looking at Reggie White, wouldn't you want to throw the ball to somebody else and run off the field?
Well, the fact that he even got that team there is the amazing part about it. And, you're looking at 96. What about those Giants teams, though? The only team that ever figured out how to really stop the 49ers juggernaut, and they got to Joe Montana.
Yeah,
They got to him.
Listen, don't take this one from me. It's 96. We're not talking about 2009, okay? We're talking about 96.
2000.
Come on now. We're not talking about 2009. We're talking about 96.
Yeah.
2009 was a tragedy. It was Brett Favre who should have gone to the Super Bowl, but blew the game late in the fourth quarter. And that was where you looked at it and said, "Is Brett Favre still Brett Favre?" Right. So don't bring up the Giants. Okay, we're talking about '96. Packers won. Reggie White got that Super Bowl, and we're good to go. We got Favre. We got Sterling Sharp. We got it. We got it. Okay.
Well, you know what? I got to go. Again, upset alert.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Texans here, and I think their defense is going to pull through here. Because I think CJ may struggle out there in the cold with the pressure and everything. But I like the Texans, even though and this kind of pains me because even though I'm a Dolphins fan, as evidenced by everything there in the background, but the Steelers are my number 2 team because all my family's from there, and when I was really getting my NFL football teeth, I was cutting my teeth in the 70s. You had the Dolphins who were great, the Steelers who were coming along, and the Dolphins beat them in the AFC Championship game to complete the undefeated season, which they would go ahead and beat the Redskins in that Super Bowl. But I've always loved the Steelers. That was the greatest defense I ever saw. Yeah. But I think the Texans are going to get this one. It's going to be an ugly game. I think it'll be ugly. I don't think Rodgers is going to be able to do a whole lot because that Texans defense is not going to give him anything. They're not. And he's going to have to fight and scrap for every yard. And it's going to be I love DeMeco Ryans as a coach. I like Mike Tomlin. So this is going to be a battle field position. This is going to be old school football.
Yeah.
So if you're a betting man, bet the under.
Well, yeah, okay, but I'm not going to go with Houston because this is me trying to find a Houston fan out here where I live in Texas, right?
Come
Nowhere
on,
to be
man.
found. Where's Houston at?
Yeah.
Well,
They're
they're
all Cowboys fans, right?
yeah,
If they're out there.
everybody's somehow an America's football team fan. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. That is the
Brother.
worst marketing or PR stunt in the world. And now
Well,
they
that
were
was originally offered to the Steelers because that
oh
was
yeah,
an NFL marketing scheme with that
yeah,
whole America's team thing, but Steelers didn't want it because of their whole blue collar image, so they put it on the Cowboys.
yeah.
And that was an NFL marketing scheme.
And now you have to hear that right after they say, and you can quote me on this one too. This year is our year.
You look just like Jerry when you say that, man. You look just like, and you sound just like Jerry.
This year is our year. And then they say, we're America's football team. I hope you like that. We're going to win. And you look at Dak Prescott and you go, no, no, you're not. Okay. Nope, sorry. Okay. What'd you get? Kenny Clark, the guy that's at his tail end of his career? Sorry. Right. So, they are Cowboys fans out here, and it's unfortunate again, but it's just as unfortunate when you see a Houston Texan fan. So I don't think that C.J. Stroud has it in him. I think that he's going to start to break out here in playoffs. He really is. Promise.
He may. He
Promise.
may. That may happen. I just think that the Houston defense is going to be the difference in the game.
I
That's
agree.
what
I
I
agree
really
because
think.
again, they have to. They have to. But how long can they stay on the field?
Well, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of 3-and-outs because they do have a good run game there, which they're going to have to rely on. So
Pretty
it's about controlling the ball, controlling the clock, which the Steelers are going to try to do too. I'm sure there's not going to be a whole lot of vertical, even though they got DK back. He's off that 2-game suspension that he got for trying to
much.
slap the crap out of a Detroit Lions fan, which every Detroit Lions fan deserves to be
He
slapped.
needs to be slapped. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the only one you can't slap is Barry Sanders because you can't catch up with him.
right, yeah. You mean you slap, but you just get air and throw your shoulder out of joint.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody loves
I get what you're saying, right? It is a defensive game, and clock control is a big one. But that's where the experience happens, right? C.J. Stroud's not going to have that. You can have good coaches, but who's out there on the field orchestrating that
I
offense,
got
right?
you. I got you.
Rodgers knows it. Rodgers knows that ultimately how he's going to win that game is clock control. He's going to hold that ball. I mean, look what happened last Sunday, right? He held that ball. That was a really good clock control game, and he picked the right, out there. No, run it again. Let's get a different play in there, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Stroud is that level, so I think that Stroud's going to have to either figure that out, or you're going to have their defense out there the whole game, and you're going to rely on the defense. So you're right; it will be a defensive game for Houston.
Yeah.
Um, Again, though, I think that the experience matters at this one.
And by the way, if anybody wants to get a hold of me this weekend, your best chances are before 10 o'clock on Saturday morning or wait till Monday. That's it. Oh, my goodness. 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and then Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
it's great, man.
Yeah.
It's great, and I'm really looking forward to actually whoever the Seahawks play and the Broncos.
So tell
I
your wife if she needs to yell at you for anything, make
Yeah,
sure she does it tomorrow. Just get it
yeah,
out of her system on Friday because Saturday and through the weekend you're just shut down. Tell her just to bring you sandwiches and food and anything else that you need, your drinky drink or whatever, and maybe a little break between games. You can tell her and the kids that you love them or whatever. But this weekend is football, man.
Can I tell you something, man? My wife is almost as a diehard football fan as I am.
Oh yeah.
She is when I'm on the couch watching football, she is right there yelling at the TV with me. Right. So she'll be watching football the same. Right. We'll have to figure out who's going to get up to get a snack.
Okay. All
Right.
right.
That's the problem here. So
Your kids
yeah.
aren't quite old enough to play waiter yet for you,
Well,
are they?
no, but I have taught them go Pack Go and go Kings Go.
Mhm.
And then my oldest son surprised me earlier today by saying "Hook 'em horns."
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
Yep.
We're getting there. So yeah, this is going to be a good run. I'm excited to see if our picks hold up. And again, Anybody want to make a comment on our picks and tell us we're stupid? Go for it. Let's hear it.
Or just tell us we're stupid for no reason.
Yeah,
Go
just
ahead
say
and do
that.
that too.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Let's hear your
Yeah.
comments. I already got one Trump derangement syndrome comment earlier. So,
Oh, you did? Okay.
yeah,
Well, that doesn't.
yeah. It's impressive.
I have a friend, just to tell you what, as far as that goes, not to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but he said that on the same thread, he has been called a libtard
Yep.
and he's been called a MAGA whatever on the same thread about the same topic
But that's
by
talent.
different people.
Yeah, that's talent.
And,
That's
and that's what happens when you just try to be objective about anything. People are
yeah,
just waiting to slap a label on you. And just like I try to tell people, don't call people stupid, especially not like some of these politicians and everything. They're not stupid. You don't get to that point being stupid.
yeah.
They may be insensitive. They may be sociopathic. Maybe a lot of things, but they're not stupid. They're not.
Listen,
They are not.
but hear me out though. When you have Tim Walz holding a press conference asking people to stop driving by his house to call him retarded, here's your sign, right?
Yeah, I get you. And by the way, you know, in light of what happened in Minnesota, just remember everybody when there are armed officers around your vehicle saying "get out of the vehicle." It's not a good idea to hit the gas and try to run them over. It just isn't. I'm just saying. You know what? I don't care what the situation is. I'm not saying I agree with ICE or not. I'm just saying in a particular situation, any situation, no matter what the surrounding is or why you're there, when armed officers tell you get out of the vehicle, you
Yeah.
don't try to run them over. That's all I'm saying.
You
That's it.
don't.
I'm not
You
saying
don't
I agree
panic.
with ICE or not. I'm saying don't try to run them over. It will not end well for you. It won't.
Uh,
Learn from this. That's all.
you don't panic and hit the gas. No. All right.
I don't think she panicked.
All right. Real quick, let's talk about this before we go ahead and shut it off. All right. What are we doing with the Kings? How are we looking like now?
Not man. Hey, you know what? 2012, 2014. Banners hang forever.
I know. Yeah, I
Forever.
know. But can we make a change? Will they?
Which change?
Will they get rid of the GM? Will they get rid of the coach and start talking about players that are younger and better? Or maybe, hey, try to get some Matthew Tkachuk's in there and let's rock and roll. Let's get some real players. Come on now. Come on now.
You take a king's ransom to get Matthew Tkachuk away from the Panthers, man. Come on now. You know that.
Yeah. But shoot,
And
man.
look at the role Colorado is on now, anyways. What is it? It's
They did really well. I watched that game the other day. They did really well. That was impressive.
Yeah.
But they still have that though. They play like that Stanley Cup team that they were. And then guess what? Then
you can play like that team, but do you have those players?
no,
That's the issue.
no,
You need to have the personnel. Oh my God, Miami just went up with what 18 seconds left in the
18
game. They
seconds
just scored a
left, yeah.
touchdown. They're up by 4 now. Well, 3 extra point pending.
Yeah, that one. See, this has been an impressive game. I've been impressed with this one.
And by the way, yeah, once again, and this is because I'm from out here. So I grew up, Southern USC right here, all that stuff, tailback U and everything. And all I have to say to Notre Dame fans is 2 things. One is 55-24. All the older Notre Dame fans know what I'm talking about. And this right here, right now. Miami belongs. You don't. The end. Just
So you get it done.
get over it.
Yeah.
This is why they're in there and you're not.
So who we taking next game? We taking Indiana or we taking Oregon?
Indiana.
So then the question is, right, will you still be saying that same thing when the U has to go up against Indiana?
Well, it doesn't matter because they will have made it that far. So you can't say that a team that makes it all the way to the championship game like this didn't belong because they do belong.
That's true.
That's true. Even if Indiana was just in Indiana, my goodness, that's a freight train, isn't it? Indiana. So Indiana may truck the Hurricanes, but we'll see because we're gonna do another show next week before that championship game even happens because that's on the 19th. So we got a show next week. We'll give them some airtime then.
Yep, absolutely. We'll talk about that. Anyway,
Jay Doggy, all my best to you and yours and everybody who watches. And remember, it is just sports. It's escapism. There are more important things in the world, but oh my goodness, do we love sports? And that's it. This is
It's
what brings everyone together. It's sports.
Yeah, sports are the way to go, man.
Yeah.
It is bringing us together, especially now when the world's coming unglued. We got some good football on a weird season. You know what I mean? A weird season so far, and I think the ending is going to be phenomenal. While I made my picks, I do feel like some upsets are going to happen.
Yeah.
I really do. I strongly believe that we're going to have a twist or show up here because look at the season. The season's been full of twists, right?
Yep.
Mahomes
Yep.
injured, Chiefs out,
Mhm.
right? Travis Kelsey went and joined the Eras tour or whatever. Um,
Both the Chiefs, the Chiefs, the Ravens out, Buffalo on shaky ground.
yeah, but then you got man, Browns coach fired, right? Pete Carroll fired, John Harbaugh fired, Mike McDaniels fired,
Hmm.
and I think the Raiders have got rid of their GM. Goodness, wild.
I'll be at the Raider Stadium next year. The Dolphins are playing there. I'm going to go there. I hear it's a great stadium, and I'm going to go watch the Dolphins
Yeah.
in Las Vegas next year. And so anyone who wants to come out the stadium, hang out, I'll buy the first person a beer. I'm not going to say a beer for everybody because what are they, $25 a piece or something?
Yeah, I tell you what, we
You
might
know?
bid for a press pass out there and hang out. Tell you what, that we could do that. We could do that. Get out there. That's gonna be man. We could have a gathering, a gathering of this show. We could talk about it. Maybe we might
Press
have some people
box.
show up to call us stupid in person. That'd be impressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
They
I know.
bought they bought a ticket, got out there, subscribed to us just so that they could say you guys are stupid.
And remember, like the other side's beanie says, it says inspire change.
Oh, wait,
That's
hold
the
on.
whole thing. And the only way you're going to inspire anyone is through communication.
Yep.
It's like, don't call me stupid. Tell me why I'm stupid.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Let's
I,
just say,
I
okay, you're stupid. Okay. Get into the
yeah.
minutia of why I am stupid. And
Give
I'll
me an
work
explanation.
with you. Yeah.
I
Not just
really, I
pick
hope, man.
against your favorite team. There's two teams playing. I have to pick one.
Yeah,
If your team happened to be the other one, it's not anything personal. It's just a professional pick. This is
yeah.
what I think.
Like I work across the hallway from a Bears fan, and I yell at him all day long. I do, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. So yeah, man, I encourage people to comment. I really do. I want to see those comments, and man, I will throw up the best comment. You give us the best comment, we
And
will
by the way,
throw
who is
it.
Wifey's team? I know your team is the Packers. Who is Wifey's team?
She is a Packers fan.
Is she?
Oh yeah,
Hey, is it?
for real, Packers fan.
And we used to see her wearing like red and gold or something, you know?
No, she is not a Niners fan. She's a
Okay.
Packers fan. I have. You've seen her. She
Oh my
wore
God, you married a Bears fan, didn't you?
No, you didn't see her when we were in Cyprus. She would always wear that Brett Favre jersey, especially when they played the 49ers. We had to go over to her dad's house.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. All
Yeah,
right, man. Hey, good luck on Saturday night there, man. But like I said,
yeah,
I'm taking Chicago because you don't have Michael Parsons.
yeah. I agree. I agree. All right, here we go. We appreciate you guys. This is the Dissenting Goyam Show, Sports Edition, Inspired Change, Opportunity, Sports, man. As I said in one of my videos, woke is a joke. Sports is the opportunity. Sports is the way we go for that discourse, that love of each other, of humanity. Um, that's kind of what puts us all on equal footing. That is where equality really happens. Okay. And again, join us next week. We will see if our picks hold up. Please comment. We will enjoy those comments. Again, I'll throw up the best comment. If you give us the best comment, let's hear it. Okay, let's hear it. And we'll pick them out. We'll put them on. We may have some changes as far as where we go with this show and if we do live or not. That's the change. We will see. So I got to talk to Charles here in a second. So I
This is the
appreciate.
first I'm hearing about it, people. I'm being blindsided.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Man, I love the views that we're seeing and show up. It's kind of awesome. Also, if you want to find us, we are now on YouTube. I will post the stuff on Substack as far as videos go, and I just joined Rumble, so we'll get on Rumble and not Rubble. like the Paw Patrol, Rumble, and I'm thinking about X. So we'll see where we go with that one. But right now, those are the three platforms that you will find us on. Please go join, like, subscribe. We'll be super grateful for that. We appreciate y'all, and good night.